Yo, November already has a certain kind of feel to it. It just already does. Today, we're talking about a bright spot in supply chains, marketing moves for 2023, and a viral coal miner gets the nod.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know who I
Dude, where else is
This is the word. This is the word. This is the word. I think it's grit. Like, I feel like every dealer I'm talking to is just like, let's go. Let's, every single one. Let's go. Let's get after it. We're going to be all right. We're actually going to make it out stronger. Whatever it is, whatever's coming, like, it's like, let's go. There's just this kind of like,
it's like that scene that comes from Lord of the Rings, right? Yes. Where he's like, whatever comes through that gate, right?
Perfect. That's exactly it. That's
November. My goodness. No, November, just even in like pre-show conversation, prepping the show, last night going back and forth, sharing some stuff. There's a feel for these last 2 months of the year.
Woo!
It's there, right? It's like palpable. I can't define it yet. And maybe you just said what it is. It's just like this feeling like we're ready for this.
Yeah.
Cue the Eminem music. It's gung.
Right. Yes.
I gotta feel like that.
Don't miss. Yeah. Right. Just right there. Yeah.
We got a couple things coming in hot. One is the creative track at the Modern Retail Conference, November 13th through 15th in Palm Beach. You can still go hang out with me and Kyle and Darren Doan, Nathaniel Greklick, Ali Pinion. We're going to be teaching a creative workshop track, and there is the special still going on, right? If you go as a manager, you can bring a creative.
I think
for free.
I think you can still find that. It's like /BOGO.
Yep.
Modern Retail Conference /BOGO.
And if you have any questions, just hit us up on social, hit us up on our email or whatever. We'll get you to it. We'll get you in. Launched a new podcast yesterday. That makes number 4.
Number 4. Like that. And we got 7 episodes out already. Let's go.
In a commitment to, it's called In the Dirt with ASOTU. So if you search In the Dirt with ASOTU on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you're going to find it. Got a hot new cover. The cover looks really cool. I'm really proud of the cover art. I didn't make it.
We didn't. Yeah. Actually, someone new on our team who you'll get to know because she's going to start just dropping amazing graphic
wizardry.
Design.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The format of the podcast is like in that 5 minutes to like, what's the longest one so far?
Maybe 15 minutes? At the most.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But these are podcasts and conversations we have when we're on the ground with dealers and industry partners, just ad hoc freestyling the whole thing. We don't even have an intro. We just get right into it.
Meeting people 1 minute before we roll,
Yeah.
Things like
that. That's it. So check it out if you want some of those conversations, and it's easy to see who it is. I think is episode 1 Eugene Fields. Is that episode 1?
I think so. See, it's either Eugene or Damon. So one or the other. I can't remember which launched first. We're probably
this isn't in the news, but it is in the news. Today is the official transition of NAMAD, National Association of Minority Auto Dealers. Damon Lester, it's his first day as a free man, and Eugene has taken the baton and now is in the fight for real. So if you follow them on LinkedIn, send them a little note of congratulations, either Damon or Eugene, because they both deserve a note of congratulations at this point.
Eugene with an H, everyone. Eugene with an H. Just so
we actually cover that really early in the dirt episode. The first things we talk about.
All right,
let's talk about some news.
I'll get into it.
Okay, Honda and Kia sales are revealing a bright spot in ongoing supply chain challenges as Hyundai saw a 7% boost in volume and Kia recorded an October record as volume jumped 12% to produce 58,276 units. Take that.
Wow.
Retail deliveries are also up 11% overall to 58,700 roughly. As Randy Parker, CEO of Honda Motor of America, noted, demand is still there and our lineup of EVs contributed to record sales this month.
You know what's interesting is they actually have a lineup.
Yeah, they do.
Which is not every manufacturer. They have 4 of them that have accounted for 101% increase. So the Seltos, the Sorento, the Nero, and the Forte all have EV or BEV hybrid lines in them. So
double the sales of last year. Noted in the Automotive News article is that Genesis is also down 18%, but that's after 22 consecutive months of being up. So they just needed a little inhale.
They needed a little breath. I think, I look back over the last couple years of the mode of advertising and marketing that Hyundai and Kia have been in. One, they've just been all in. and they have like even the energy around their advertising and their video advertising is very forward. It's very young. There's a lot of like push toward tech, you know, when the when some of their models come out, there's a push toward tech. Or then they have, you know, they did like the hamsters back in the day, and then they did weren't they the ones that had the skeletons and stuff? So it's a very like,
that's right.
It's moving forward. It's pushing the boundaries consistently of marketing and advertising. And so when you think about that and you back that into what type of buyer the EV persona is right now, it matches really clearly.
It's a Gen Z / millennial move.
They've done the work to find that audience, and then the walk to EV is a very short.
Yeah, it is. I mean, so we're looking at supply and demand seeming like they're in a little bit of lockstep right now. On the that's got to feel really good.
Which is a really nice place to be as a producer, as a manufacturer, I feel like.
I think it is. So it's great to see some good news coming out of supply chain. It's good to see a company balancing it well. And it's good to see the long-term brand marketing of a company being effective when the supply is there and the market is ready. Speaking of brand marketing.
Stop.
Segue.
It's like we already knew. It's like we already knew.
It's like we almost knew what story was coming next. This is an interesting one. This one's from Outside Automotive. We're trying to bring some broad outside automotive thinking and imparting it and injecting it into the marketing, automotive marketing minds and CEO execs right now at this year's Association of the National Advertisers Association of National Advertisers.
It's hard words after a whole night of candy last night. It's hard.
Blah, 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 blah. Well, they had their Masters of Marketing conference where CMOs and marketers from notable companies gathered from across the country to discuss 2023 strategies and best practices, noting kind of the highlight is noting pressure to cut marketing budgets in downturns is an historically losing formula. So a couple companies you may have heard of.
Real quick. I know that nobody in automotive has considered over the last year or into the next year cutting marketing budgets. So this probably is an irrelevant story, but you can keep going, you know.
Oh, laying it on thick. CEO Bob Lighthice opened the conference with a warning against cutting marketing to a large audience of members, including execs from little companies like MasterCard, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and many others. He argued that brands will win when they actively differentiate themselves and defend the productivity of their investments in marketing in uncertain times. So what I hear him saying is,
what you're telling me
is that when times get uncertain, the people who stick to the marketing guns and talk about relevant things actually disproportionately win on the other side. And that's what I gain
what we call market share. So, and this is what I think is interesting is, and I posted about this on LinkedIn the other day, but a lot of people, when they think market share, they only think end results. So business outcomes, so sales or service market share, earning a customer base, but you can also gain market share in advertising platforms. So one of the things that everybody was talking about is in Q3, advertisers like Meta and so Facebook, Instagram, YouTube primarily and Snapchat saw massive downturns in advertising revenue. Now, Amazon was an outlier. They did not see that same change, but when all these platforms are seeing loss in advertising revenue, that tells us that the majority of advertisers are starting to pull back on these platforms. Well, you can actually gain market share long-term by investing in these platforms when everybody else isn't. You buy ads at a lower cost and you hit more of your audience with a higher frequency of reach. And because you are exercising an always-on strategy, you actually continue that same stream when other advertisers come back, because they have to fight for attention that you already have. And so, like, when you think market share, don't just think business outcomes. Think
it's almost like mind share.
Yeah,
it's like mind share of marketing. Yep. We didn't talk about the story on the show, but the decision of GM to pull their marketing out of Twitter when Musk turned over,
Yeah,
Everybody else.
It's an advertising headline too, you know, for them. Like everybody's talking about it, so they probably did pretty well
but
from just mind share. But
well, I mean, I don't know, man. No one's talking about it anymore.
Yeah,
I guess we are.
Know.
I guess we are, but from the other side of it,
I got
the
2
retail
emails
side.
talking about it this morning. So
tomorrow still, yeah, because if you're not GM, guess what? What Kyle just said about market share, it's like, well, there's a little bit of an open slot. Kia,
wide
Hyundai,
open. Yep.
Twitter's your baby. Okay, a little more from that. In an effort to arm marketers to rightly advise
someone
leadership.
That. Someone put that. Twitter's your baby. Hyundai, Kia, Twitter's your baby.
I can already see the picture coming out of that. Check tomorrow's email. By the way, if you don't subscribe to our daily email,
you gotta get
we put stuff like that in there every single day. It is the best, funnest, most informative email in automotive that you can read in like 2 or 3 minutes and laugh on your way to your next email. You can get it at ASOTU.com. All right, still on the marketing story. In an effort to arm marketers to rightly advise leadership, Floor Schultz, Chief Marketing Officer at Analytic Partners, noted pressure to cut budgets in 2023 and said there's a way to use insights to show the board, like your bosses, that cutting your budget will not only harm your business in the short term, but the impact long term is very substantial. She said, if you cut your budget and your competitor doesn't, you can lose 15% of your business.
Go if you're a marketer and you're wondering how to do this, this is actually really easy. You can go look from September to November at news articles surrounding specifically Coca-Cola from the year of the pandemic, so 2020. If you go back and look at news articles surrounding the research done and the market share that they gained over the pandemic because they exercised an always-on philosophy, you can show your, like, here's how even big box retailers saw gains when others pulled back from marketing spend.
Yeah. And I mean, we just lived through this. When the pandemic happened, there were a select number of dealers who did not shut everything off because they already had a mechanism to talk about things other than their inventory. So when we say marketing, we're not talking about inventory ads, because the quick flip back could be like, well, what am I going to market if I don't have any inventory? We're not talking about that. We're talking about what your dealership believes, how you serve the community, talk about your people, tell the stories, because that is the thing that actually drives interest when it comes time to buy a car and when it comes time to get your car serviced. People do business with people they like. We're talking about the big play. We're not talking about inventory ads. There's going to be a lot more on this, but I think taking these insights from outside automotive and starting to think of it, if you're an executive, if you're a GM, right? We want to crack your mind open to this. If you're a marketer, like, we want to arm you to tell the story in the right way, because if you're in this audience, we know that you can disproportionately win. I don't have a segue because I don't know if Kentucky's a good basketball team or not. Are they winning?
I mean, they normally are, but I hate them.
All right. Well, speaking of disproportionately winning,
stop. Segue
time. I'm a Duke fan, everyone. I'm a Duke fan. My dad went to Duke, so I apologize if that makes anyone hate me. But you know, I just remember back to Christian Laettner in the early 1990s. Here's to you. Let's talk about TikTok.
Not that he's holding a grudge.
No.
So a TikTok video, a story about a Kentucky coal miner who came straight out of a mine and went right into the University of Kentucky basketball game with his young son, is going viral. Video features Coach John Calipari, who grew up in a coal mining family, telling the story of the man sitting in the stands with his face and red beard blackened by coal dust, sitting by his wife and son. So he's in the full gear. You can tell he just walked out of the mine, and he's sitting there talking with his son, enjoying a game. And people saw this story and they started like outpouring and reacting to want to just really just acknowledge this guy and kind of bless the family. Like, there were restaurants calling saying, we want to give him free meals. A dealership called, he mentioned, which is why we're talking about this. A dealership called. Wow. We want to give this guy a car. Right.
So
I'm like, if there's nothing more American, just to say, like, this is just an example of prioritizing your family, working really hard, right? And coal mining, right? It's something that is like dirty work. It's day in and day out, but it keeps all the other things that we have going. And then to prioritize your son and just like not worry about what you look like, but I'm going to be there with my son. It's just one of those stories that we had to talk about.
I saw this like early this weekend when it first came out, and would be lying if I didn't get a little lump in my throat. You know, I've got a boy, and you know, it's like, I don't care what you do, whether you sit in an office like we do every single day, or whether you work in a coal mine. Like, It is. It's tough to prioritize family, and sometimes you're running and gunning, and especially if you travel a lot or you're working late. And I know that there are people in dealerships today that will work till 11 o'clock at night and not see their kids for dinner or to put them to bed. And those moments, those times where you get the opportunity to lean into your family are so valuable. And for a coach of a historied basketball program like Kentucky to call that out and for a community to come around it just shows that the spirit around acknowledging families as an important part of the investment that a father or a mother can make in their daily life that's all the feels, all the goods. Welcome to Tuesday, everyone.
Welcome to November. Well, look, that's our best shot Tuesday. November's just starting. We have a lot of work to do. Already got that feel to it. I have a feeling in 60 days, we're going to be like, that was a fireball of 2 months to close the year.